What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I'm going to be looking at 10 features that I feel should be standard in every Call of Duty game. These features are generally not gameplay related, and they don't have any impact on the developer's creative freedom, so it doesn't matter if the game is past, present, boots on the ground, or advanced movement. These are 10 features that I feel should be in every Call of Duty game. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so with this list, there's going to be a lot of things where one developer came out with this feature and it was great, and then the next year with a new developer and a new title, that feature was suddenly gone because they don't necessarily share all their features and work together. So that's really what this list is about, and the first thing is a great example of this. This is Theater Mode. Treyarch introduced Theater Mode back in Black Ops 1, and it's kind of been coming and going. It's here and there. Some years we have it, some years we don't, and I find it really frustrating that this isn't a standard in every Call of Duty game. So this is why Theater Mode makes a list at number 10. Moving on to number 9 on the list, this is something that Infinite Warfare has done an excellent job with, and I hope we see this feature return in future Call of Duty games. This is the fast loading times. Say what you will about the game, I find it excellent that the map actually loads as you're in the pre-game lobby when it's counting down, so that way when the match actually starts, the map's already loaded up and you get right into it with no loading time. Also, it might seem relatively minor, but when you first boot up the game, you can easily skip those loading screens at the beginning and you get yourself into the game as fast as possible. It might seem like such a minor thing, but when you factor in all the games that you play throughout a game's lifecycle, as well as all the times that you boot up a game in its lifecycle, all of this wasted time really adds up, and when I go back to playing previous Call of Duty games, I definitely notice just how slow it used to be, and I really hope going forward, they follow suit with the loading times of Infinite Warfare. Getting into number 8 on the list, this has to do with headshots. Back in Advanced Warfare, they introduced a different headshot hit marker. So if you hit them in the head, you get a different hit marker. You're dealing a different amount of damage when you are hitting them in the head, so I think it really makes sense to have some sort of a different hit marker every time you hit an enemy player in the head. This is a feature that I feel like people generally loved, and for whatever reason the other developers didn't really seem to pick up on just how much community loved this, and we haven't seen it return since. Now taking this one step further on the same topic of headshots, I feel every Call of Duty game, as a standard, should have a very distinct headshot kill sound. Most Call of Duty games have done a great job with this if you think back to them. Most of them have a very distinct ping sort of sound, or just something that's a little bit different than the standard hit marker. But this is an area where Infinite Warfare really fell down, and it's quite noticeable that it's gone. So I feel going forward it should absolutely be a standard in Call of Duty to have separate headshot hit markers, as well as always a very distinct headshot kill sound. Getting into number 7 on the list, this is a custom emblem creator. Now I know there are going to be a lot of people saying, no, we don't need that because of all the childish emblems you see out there. But I am completely willing to deal with all of those sorts of emblems in order to have a custom emblem of my own. And it is a feature that most people seem to really want in a Call of Duty game. Because if you remember back with Infinite Warfare, when they didn't have their custom emblem editor for the first several months of their game, people were completely outraged. And there were several people that refused to play the game, and their reasons were it didn't have a custom emblem editor and it didn't have leaderboards. So obviously, it's a pretty big sticking point in the community, and I feel we should always have that custom emblem editor, as well as a proper feature for reporting those really offensive emblems. Moving on to number 6 on my list, this is some sort of a daily and or weekly contract system. They can call it whatever they want, they can make these challenges whatever they want them to be, but I feel every Call of Duty going forward should have some sort of a system where you have a daily challenge to work towards, or a weekly challenge, maybe even a monthly challenge. This is an excellent way to keep players engaged, keep them going throughout the life cycle, keep them working towards something, and in my mind, it was an excellent addition that I would like to see never go away in Call of Duty. Getting into number 5 on my list, this is something that I feel pretty much everybody in the community can agree on, and this is free DLC weapons for everyone. No matter which supply drop system the Call of Duty decides to go with, because supply drops simply aren't going anywhere anytime soon, any new content that is non-cosmetic, so I'm talking guns or like score streak variants for instance, any of this sort of content should not be locked behind supply drops. I'm loving the way that Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered have done it so far, where you get the base guns in Infinite Warfare for free if you're a Season Pass holder, or you just complete some challenges to unlock them. And with Modern Warfare Remastered, you can basically just grind the game out and you can unlock the guns that you want. This is the system we should be going with. I hope we never return to a system like Black Ops 3 or Advanced Warfare, where the only way to get new content is to get lucky and get them out of a supply drop. Moving on to number 4 on my list, this is a firing range. In Advanced Warfare, they introduced a firing range where you could go out, you could test your classes out in this firing range between games or between lobbies, basically whenever you wanted when you weren't in a game. You could easily hop into the firing range, and that was excellent, but you'll notice I put a little asterisk next to it. This needs to be optimized better going forward. If you guys remember from Advanced Warfare, when you finished a game, it took a very long time to load the menu to get back into it, and then after it did load and you could see everything, you couldn't actually move anything, you couldn't select anything. It was kind of frozen for several seconds before you could actually do anything with it. And based on all of my research, this was caused by the firing range, because the firing range had to load up every single time, even if you weren't planning on using it. And I found that to be quite frustrating. That kind of goes against what I was saying earlier with making those loading times faster like Infinite Warfare. So as long as they can optimize this firing range system, I feel it should become a staple in Call of Duties going forward. Moving on to number 3, and this might seem a little bit minor to some people, but for other people this is extremely important. This is a black sky or dark matter type camo. Basically a camo or some sort of big achievement that you get for completing all of the challenges for every one of the weapons in the game. This is something that keeps people coming back day after day. It really extends the life cycle of the game. It gives you something to work towards if you are the type of person that likes to grind for things, which that is a very large group of the Call of Duty community. They love to grind for things. They love to work towards something. And I feel like having an achievement where you do complete all of the guns in the game or all of the challenges for all the guns in the game is very important to have. This kind of solves 2 things. First off, it keeps those people that love to grind, it keeps them busy, keeps them playing the game, and that's great. And second, this encourages variety throughout the game. Without any sort of dark matter or diamond camo or anything to really work towards like that, people don't really have incentive to use some of the lesser used guns or like the lower tier weapons. Everybody's going to simply gravitate towards the higher tier guns, and that's all you're ever going to see. You think you've seen a lot of complaints about all the NV4s that are being used, or in Black Ops 3 it was VMPs? Take away dark matter or black sky and you would have seen a whole lot more of those things in pretty much every single public match that you played. Give us incentives to try things out, encourage variety in the game, and I feel a dark matter or black sky style camo, of course you can style it however you want, you can make it look however you want, basically just a camo for completing all the camos, is very important to me in every Call of Duty going forward. Getting into number 2 on the list, this is a proper and separate competitive mode within the game. This mode should be using the proper and most current competitive rule set, it should be completely separated from regular public matches, and it should have a proper ranking system. Beyond that, I feel like each studio should have a little bit of room to play with how they want to organize it, but those should be the 3 basic elements, and I really feel they should use Black Ops 2's League Play system as sort of that gold standard to build off of. Again, just to reiterate, proper and current competitive rule set, complete separation from public matches so you don't have the same stats or anything carrying over into public matches, and finally a proper ranking system. Every Call of Duty going forward should have this sort of a system. So finally, for number 1 on my list, this one might be a little bit of a pipe dream, but I'm still going to say it because I feel it needs to be said. Something that should be absolutely standard going forward in Call of Duty is 100% dedicated servers and not the ones that they're currently using. I'm talking dedicated servers that you would expect in a AAA title in 2017 right now. Not a 20 Hz tick rate or anything like that. I'm talking minimum 60 Hz tick rate, 100% dedicated servers for everyone all of the time. This is something I feel should absolutely be standard in Call of Duty. Do I think that's going to happen anytime soon? No, probably not, but it needs to keep being said in the community. We need to keep pushing for it. And if Call of Duty wants to remain competitive in the industry, they're going to eventually have to step up and get this done. So there we have it. That's going to wrap it up for my list of 10 features that I feel should be standard across every single Call of Duty title. I'd like to know in the comment section below, what would you add to this list? I actually had a much longer list than 10 when I first started getting ready for this video, but I decided to cut a bunch of those things because they weren't really all that great, and 10 is a nice round number, so I took the 10 most important things that I could think of. But I'd like to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What are 10 features that don't affect the developer's ability to be creative with their game and make the game that they want to make? What are 10 features that you think should be standard going forward in every Call of Duty title? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.